Trying to decide if you should move to Novi, Michigan or Northville, Michigan? Well, it sort of depends on what you want to spend and what's really important to you. If you ask me, one of them kind of sucks. You want to know which one that is? You're in luck, because we're starting now. Alright, so if you are not from Michigan, Novi and Northville, Michigan are sort of stacked right on top of each other, kind of like a city sandwich. They're both a great location if you have to drive to either the airport, DTW airport, or downtown Detroit. So it's basically the same. That's why a lot of people, when they reach out and they're looking for a luxury area to buy in, they like Novi and Northville because close proximity to both of those things and pretty much everything else. So if you're looking at Northville to the airport, you're looking at about 26 minutes from Northville to DTW. If you're driving from Northville to downtown Detroit, you're about 33 minutes. So Novi to DTW is about 24 minutes. You got like 2 minutes shaved off there. And Novi to Detroit is about 29 minutes. So you save a little bit of time, like 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, you can do a lot in 2 to 3 minutes. So
what do you need a couple of minutes?
Really, location again is why a lot of people pick both of these places, because it's really not far from anything. Next up, we've got things to do in both of these cities. Novi has Fountain Walk, and Fountain Walk has Imagine Theaters, JD Indoor Kart Racing, Paradise Park Amusement Park, and they have like putt-putt and all sorts of like rides and things. They've got an arcade there too, which I think is pretty cool. Kids love arcades. And then Fountain Walk has like Lucky Strike bowling. So there's a lot of things to do in Novi. Northville is a little bit different. You've got Mayberry State Park, which is an amazing state park. They've got, you know, running and biking trails and all sorts of frisbee golfing, if that's your thing. You've got downtown Northville, like a real true traditional downtown. And I think I've talked about this in like every one of my videos. I love downtown areas. So if you like walkable downtown areas, Northville, not Novi. You also have a horse racing track, Northville Downs, that's a thing. And cider mills. If you watched my other video about Northville, watch it here, maybe after you're done with this, you have a ton of cider mills there. Maybe not like a ton, but enough. So they both have things to do depending on what you like to do. If doing things outdoors is your thing, then probably Northville. Next up, we'll talk about shopping. Shopping!
I hate shopping.
So Novi has a traditional mega mall. It's 12 Oaks Mall, and it has all of the traditional mall type stores like Abercrombie and things like that. So if you like to, if you're like a mall walker, if you don't like walking on trails at Mayberry Park and you just want to like walk around a shopping mall all day, Novi would be perfect for you. They also have Fountain Walk, which I talked about before, but it's sort of like a new school spin on an old school downtown, where it's really not like a downtown, but it just has sort of things to do and shopping in like a plaza area, and then you just park and then sort of go there. In Fountain Walk, you'll have Nordstrom Rack, Party City, Home Goods, DSW Shoes, Old Navy, and there's even a Container Store. I've never been in a Container Store, but anyone who I say that to, they're like, what? You haven't been to a Container Store? It's the greatest store. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. I don't think it could be the greatest store. It's probably the greatest store for containers. That may be a true statement. Now, Northville, on the other hand, has a true traditional downtown, which we already talked about. I talk about it all the time. You park, walk around, go to bars, hang out, go to little shops. It's great. And it also has a Costco.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
It doesn't really have a Costco. Costco is actually right on the other side in Livonia, but it's basically in Northville. I mean, you're there, you can see it, but they do have a Trader Joe's and a Fresh Time. So Trader Joe's is in Northville, and there is a Fresh Time market in Northville. So if you like stuff like that, Northville is your spot. Next up is the price of these two cities. We cannot compare two cities without talking about the price to live there and the price of real estate. So the city of Novi, the average home price is $334,200. And the average income of the average resident of Novi is $80,000 a year. Now, Novi Township, on the other hand, has an average home price of $470,000 and an average income of $125,000. So like you would think that's the fancy zone of Novi. But the actual township of Novi is tiny. Only 150 people live there. So, I mean, your chances of living there are pretty slim. I mean, if you're looking at Novi, it's probably in the city of Novi and not in the township of Novi. I shouldn't even include it in the list, but I feel like I'd be doing you an injustice if I didn't talk about the township of Novi. 150 people. Like, my neighborhood has more than 150 people in it. So the cheapest home that sold last year in Novi sold for $195,000. Now that's the cheapest in Novi with Novi schools. The most expensive home in Novi sold for $1.77 million. And it was in the Island Lake Shores subdivision. Now, if you watched my most expensive neighborhoods of Novi video, I'm gonna link it right here, you'd know that that is one of the priciest places to live in Novi. If you're looking for a place in there, let me know. Or anywhere in Novi, really. I'll help you. So now on to the city of Northville. The average home price of Northville City is $424,700. And the average income of the average resident of Northville City is $92,000 a year. Now, Northville Township has an average sale price of $419,000 and an average income of $102,000. So it's like the people who live in the township make more money, but they spend less on their homes. Maybe that's why they make more money. Better with money. The cheapest home that sold in Northville last year with Northville schools was $199,000. And the most expensive home that sold in Northville with Northville schools was in the Monterey subdivision, and it sold for $1.67 million. And I made a video all about that subdivision and other fancy subdivisions in Northville, and you can check it out here when you're done with this video. So of the two, Northville is definitely the more expensive place to live, unless you live in that little tiny 150 person section of Novi, which probably won't. Both cities, Novi and Northville, are not good if you're looking for a $150,000 to $200,000 home. If you've got a budget of $100,000 to $200,000, you're probably not going to find a steal of a deal unless it's falling over and you're paying cash. Next, we'll talk about taxes between the two cities. This is a fun one because it's a mess. All right, so Northville, you have both the city and the township, right? But Northville is also in both Wayne and Oakland County. So you have the city, the township, Wayne County, and Oakland County. Now there's pros and cons for Wayne County and Oakland County, but that is a whole other video, and we will talk about that another day in another video. But basically, if you buy a $500,000 home in the city of Northville on the Wayne County side, you're looking at paying about $8,800 a year in taxes. Now, if you buy on the Oakland County side, it's about $8,000 a year. So it's a little bit cheaper on the Oakland County side. Now, if you buy in Northville Township, it's even cheaper than that. You're looking at paying about $7,300 a year in taxes. Now we'll focus on Novi, and this is very similar, except you don't have the two different counties. You have the city of Novi, and then you have that tiny section of Novi Township. Now, taxes are different between those two, and then you have 4 different school districts in Novi. So it's really important to pay attention to those school districts. You have Novi School District, Northville School District, South Lyon School District, and even a section of it that goes to Walled Lake School District. But if we just focus on Novi with Novi, you're looking at about $7,400 a year for a house that's about $500,000 if we're just comparing that house. Now if you go Novi with Northville schools, you're looking at about $6,700 a year. So if you buy a house in Novi with Northville schools, it's like the cheapest way to go to Northville schools. But if you're looking at moving at either one of these, Novi or Northville, expect to pay about $6,000 to $9,000 on taxes if you're gonna buy a $500,000 house. And obviously more if you're spending more.
Spend more?
But I have a very important note about taxes. If you see a home and it looks like a super good deal because the taxes are very low, it could be deceiving because the homeowner could have lived there for years and years and years, and the taxes are now capped, and the cap will come off when you move in. So it's very important that you talk to your real estate agent or whoever's helping you, or go on the state's website and do the tax estimator to figure out how much the taxes will actually be when you move into one of these homes. Because if you're looking at a $500,000 home and it says that the taxes are $4,000, that's not true. That's not true at all. We just discussed it. I just told you how much it'll be. A lot more than that. Next up, we'll talk about the schools. So as I discussed before, Novi kids will either go to Novi Public Schools, Northville Public Schools, South Lyon Public Schools, or Walled Lake Public Schools. depending on where you live in the city. So there's a whole bunch of different zones in those cities. All are great school districts. You can check out all the ratings and reviews. I'll put a link below so you can check all those out because they change all the time. I can't say like it's the best. You never know. And remember, the taxes change for each zone. I can't say that enough because it always comes as a surprise to people. So Northville is just as funky. You have Northville Public Schools, you have Novi Public Schools, you have Southline Public Schools, and there's even a portion of the city that goes to Plymouth Canton Public Schools. So, I mean, that's a whole, like, that's a wrench in the mix. Like, nobody expected that.
Expect the unexpected.
You have to ask your agent. You have to pay attention to those things when you're looking at both of these areas. So, what one sucks? Well, if you ask me, Northville. Northville sucks, but it sucks the money out of your bank account because like the taxes are never gonna go away. A lot of these houses have really high association fees where you have to just keep on paying those. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that Northville is one of the best cities around, and I've made a whole video about some of my favorite cities in Oakland County and in Wayne County. It's in both, because remember, it's in both. But if you're still on the fence and trying to figure out where you would like to live, check out some of these other videos and playlists around here, and I will see you there.